Hello, welcome to the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz. Hello, guys. My fader was not up because I'm killing it today. Hello, everyone. It's the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz here at 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Thanks for joining us for our ninth official episode of the fall semester. Leave whatever you experienced behind yesterday, whether it was a great day or a bad one, and start fresh and positive with us right now. Good morning, my fellow news contributor, Tommy Bavaro, my amazing co-host, Crystal Santos. How are you guys doing?
Good morning, Kaya. I feel like usually before our show, I get to say good morning to you, but since I didn't, this is more sincere, guys. This is the first time I'm talking to Kaya this morning. Good morning, Kaya. How are you?
I am, I'm caffeinated.
That's good.
There was a lot of fog today. It was really strange. Like I literally walked out and I felt like it was spooky season. Like I walked out and I couldn't really see
Mm.
anything. So it was like super strange. Yes, Tommy, sorry, sports contributor as always. We actually, for a news contributor, we have a special guest.
A
We're
really special
always
guest.
we're always excited to bring on our Morning Buzz producer, Ryan Trick.
It's me.
Oh, wow. Are you just imitating the Kaya mouse voice when she gets nervous on air?
Hi,
Oh,
guys.
that's cute.
Yeah, no. Hello. It's great to be on, as always. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Words are just slipping out of my mouth and they just don't have enough time to like process in my brain. And that's something my dad always tells me. Kaya, can you speak slower and actually, think about what you're saying before you say something? And I've been told that since I was 5 years old, and
Yeah,
it's
but
still apparently not working.
Yeah, but where's the fun in knowing what you're about to say?
Right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
So actually, for something factual and something that I know Ryan actually has thought about and in his brain before he's actually going to say it, this is an amazing news cast that we have for today. So tell us, what's going on in the world of news, Ryan?
Well, thank you very much, Kaya. Here are the latest news updates right here on 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. As always, well, not as always, but as of right now, I'm your newscaster, Ryan Trick. In U.S. news, presidential candidates Donald Trump and Joe Biden are set to square off in their final debate tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. With Election Day closing in, Biden is currently leading most national polls, according to AP News, and may have a slightly narrower advantage in the battleground states that could have a major impact on the outcome of the election. We'll be keeping you updated and informed right here at WMSC with more Election Day news. And in local news, Governor Phil Murphy went out to a bar this past Saturday night, but may have gotten something other than appetizers. While he was out, Governor Murphy came into contact with a staff member who recently tested positive for COVID-19. The governor and his staff say he plans to quarantine through at least the end of this weekend. And in international news, a trio who lived on the space station finally returned to Earth safely after a very long time. A trio of space travelers safely returned to Earth today after a 6-month mission at the International Space Station. The Soyuz MS-16 capsule carrying NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy and Roscosmos Anatoly Ivanishin and Ivan Wagner.
Great pronunciation.
I apologize to all our Russian listeners out there. Landed on the steppes of Kazakhstan, southeast of the town of Dzekistan at 7:54 a.m. on this morning. And after a brief medical checkup, the three will be taken by helicopters to Dzekistan, where they will depart home. Thank you very much, AP News, for that. And for your weathercast, it's about 63 degrees here in Upper Montclair. Today, we're going to have a beautiful high of 72 and a low of 59 with a 10% chance of rain and a just ridiculous amount of fog. Like, I'm talking a spooky amount of fog, Kaya.
Yeah, it's haunted season.
Spooky season is quite prominent by the fact that when I picked you up to drive to the station this morning, we literally could not see the end of your block.
No, we could not see the library. We couldn't see trees. I was like, Ryan, we're in for a ride.
Yeah.
And then Ryan pursued to talk about his video game that
It's
actually...
True. It's very Silent Hill-esque. if any of you are familiar with the franchise. Anyways, tomorrow we're going to have a 40% chance of rain with a high of 64 and a low of 57. And then on Saturday, 20% chance of rain with mostly clouds, high 68, low 41. That's all from me. Back to you, Guy and Crystal.
Wow, it seems that we're going to have a nice Saturday, and tomorrow is a great study day. So, anyone that needs to stay on top of their schoolwork, like me, I'm outing myself. It's tomorrow is a great day for that. So, there you go, students.
I want to go outside now. I feel like because you guys said there's so much fog, I feel like, since we're coming down to October 31st, we are currently in spooky season. I just feel like I have to go outside and see what's going on.
When
See
you
what
walk
you guys
out, when you walk out your door, you're going to be literally met, like slapped in the face. There's just a pool of just humidity and water and just blankets of warm air.
The fog is quite thick today.
You might want to put your rain jacket on just in case.
Yeah.
I'm here for it though. But moving on to our sports updates, we have Tommy here with us. What's going on in the world of sports, Tommy?
How you guys doing today in this nice morning, or maybe cloudy morning for my area?
Well, sports contributor Tommy, we're doing good. Thanks.
All right. Let's get to the sports for this time. All right. So starting off with the MLB. Recapping the 2020 World Series so far. In Game 2 last night, the Tampa Bay Rays tied the series 1-1 by defeating the Los Angeles Dodgers with a final score of 6-4. Game 3 of the World Series will be continuing on Friday at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time. Going into the NFL, after picking up their first win of the season on Sunday against the Washington football team, the New York Giants traveled to Philadelphia today to take on the Eagles on Week 7's Thursday Night Football. The Giants are 1-5, while the Eagles are 1-4-1. Each team will be looking for their first win of the season as the game takes place tonight at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia. And to close out today's quick sportscast, former New York Giant and current Cleveland Brown wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. has been banned for 2 years from his college from LSU's football facilities in relation to the NCAA's investigation into improper boosters payment into his football players. That concludes your short sportscast for today. Back to you, Kyle and Crystal.
That was sweet and informative. Thank you, Tommy.
You're welcome. And I wish it was a little longer, but that's all the facts I had for this week. So don't worry, there'll be a lot more coming along the way.
Sports are doing really great considering that we're in a pandemic right now, and the fact that we're all able to bring on sports contributors like you that are super passionate about sports and actually able to talk about it. It's just super appreciating and gratifying. So yeah, you're doing a great job, Tommy. Thank you.
Of course, yes. Even when there's just NFL and NBA or MLB going on, there'll be more sports to talk about eventually throughout the next semester.
And we're excited about it. I'm excited to tell my uncles and aunts about football and all other sports during holiday, small talk, awkward small talk.
Of course. I'm always excited to tell anybody what's going on with sports, whether it be college or professional.
Yeah, I'm going to be like, Tommy said.
So I trust Tommy, okay? Tommy said this. So
Tommy said this.
Word. Well, thank you so much, Tommy. I hope you have a great Thursday.
You too. Have a great Thursday, everyone.
All right, see you next week.
Yep, see you next week.
Moving on to our next segment, what's happening at MSU? So actually this week it's Virtual Spirit Week. See, even though we're in a pandemic, that doesn't stop us from celebrating. So today, Thursday, is Jersey Day. I like that. Which basically you get to show your New Jersey pride by sharing any food that you think is very like a New Jersey thing, any sports team jersey, a catchphrase, or anything else you may consider to be unique to the Garden State. They encourage, Montclair State University encourage you to tag Red Hawk Life and use the hashtag Red Hawk Pride. I wonder, is there prizes, Kaya? I haven't been keeping up with these Virtual Spirit Week.
The problem that I see with this is all like New Jersey catchphrases I can think of are not safe for air, and the school probably won't want me tweeting at them.
Disco fries.
Right? Oh, yeah, disco fries. That's definitely safe for air. But no, it's everything. I can only think of things that I would hear on the Parkway, at like between the hours of 2 in the afternoon and like 7 at night.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Forget about it.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
If
What else
anybody,
do we have going on?
so on Friday, it's our last day of Red Hawk Pride, and you can basically wear anything that has to do with Montclair. How do you show your pride for
Mm.
being a Red Hawk? And then on Friday, we also have this event which I thought was kind of interesting. It's called Leaving the Nest: Healthy Food on a Budget. It starts at 11:30 a.m. and it is an online workshop that focuses on meal planning and simple cooking ideas to make healthy food on a budget. I absolutely love that because you know that what is it, freshman 15? It's real, guys.
Is
So
it?
Mine's
Is
closing in on
it?
the freshman 50, and I'm a senior.
I don't
Yeah.
see it. I don't see it,
Ryan.
Ryan. I think it's a lie.
I don't know what Ryan's talking about. I don't know. I think it's let's blame the pandemic for that, huh?
Yeah, we'll blame the pandemic.
So yes, as always, there's plenty of events to take advantage if you wish. Of course, I always like to look at Stay in the Loop, and yes, these are the little few of the events that are happening that I thought were kind of interesting. So I hope and I encourage all of you to participate in the Virtual Spirit Week if you'd like.
And I'd also like to add that we have the homecoming game this weekend. And also, we're going to have a tabling event, WMSC. We're going to talk to some students and just members of student organizations on campus on Friday from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So obviously social distance, safe, and we're just going to be talking to a bunch of people. And
Kaya will be there.
I will be there.
Yeah.
Programming director Josh will be there. Hopefully Ryan and Amanda will
I'll
stop
show up.
by
Yeah,
and
I'll be
say
lurking.
hi.
I'll be lurking around.
Yeah, you can use
Yeah.
your photography skills,
Maybe.
take some pictures on your smartphone of yours.
Sure.
And yeah, so if you guys are happening to be on campus on Friday, you're more than welcome to say hi to us. We're a friendly bunch, and I can maybe hand you a WMSC hat.
Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
well,
Yeah.
have
never
little
mind. I want to
bits of
go. No, I'm
merch.
kidding.
We will have hats and pens to give out, so it'll be fun. And
But
and print copies of newsletters that Sabrina and I and the
it
office team worked
is-
hard on.
It is socially distant, so if you do come, please wear a mask. And I know you must be like, oh, WMSC people, they're so famous. They're like celebrities. I want to shake their hand and give them a hug.
I
No,
will faint.
be gone, foul peasants.
Oh
No, we're not
no.
allowed to.
What is this? What is this hierarchy of
we're
yours
gonna-
that you're promoting, Ryan? You so long, peasants.
Nah, but we will not be like doing super interactive stuff just because of the pandemic. But we do hope to save
We will be throwing the items at
Yeah.
you, so you'll have to test your reflex
Is a
time.
t-shirt cannon in the budget? Can I
No,
like shoot hats out of a t-shirt cannon?
we'll think about it. We'll think
Alright,
about it. Yeah,
We'll workshop it after the episode.
that's true. So yeah, a lot of events happening on campus, and we're just really appreciative and happy and super excited that they're still going on, even in person, socially distanced. And that's all thanks to the Center of Student Involvement and SLAM for doing and preparing all of these activities. Thank you so much. As a student, it makes
And
me happy. And
don't
thank you,
forget
Crystal,
to fill
for
out your Red Hawk check. Look at me,
There we
being a
go.
responsible college Montclair
Yes, the
student.
day
What?
before. You're supposed to fill out your Hawk check the day beforehand. So make sure that you're filling that out before you come to campus on Friday or for the homecoming game as well.
I stand.
Exactly.
All right. So now we did all these amazing segments. We went from news to sports to events, and now we're going to go political because it's political season. So we've got an FBI director who finds himself in a political middle ground. He's like, what am I going to do right now? I have a lot of things that I need to debate, and a lot of things that are, kind of challenging my career right now, and I have to make these decisions. And you're going to
moral conflict.
moral compass. He's going to have to tap into his moral compass and find out what is best for him and is best for the nation. So the Trump appointed FBI director was confirmed to, steer clear of James Comey's past actions. So he promised that he would not be taking any political explosive steps without consulting superiors, and offering personal opinions about candidates or just rivals of Trump that would maybe damage their campaign. And Ray is just trying to keep silent about any of superiors that are facing criminal charges because he is, as the time that he's been appointed director, he's been staying loyal to them. And in a quote that he said in his July 2017 confirmation hearing, he said, quote, "It's never been my practice to speak publicly as a prosecutor or as a department official about uncharged individuals. I think those policies are important. I think they're in place for a reason, and I would expect to comply with them," end quote. And this is days after the 2020 election. Wray is now finding himself under pressure from Donald Trump and his allies to publicly disclose information that could damage Trump's political rival, this time around, Joe Biden. Trump's inner circle was already furious at Wray for echoing the intelligence community's findings that Russia is trying to damage Biden's candidacy, and his description of Antifa as an, quote, ideology rather than an organized entity. Now they're making up calls to fire this handpicked director, that is Wray. And Trump is literally shouting out at Wray numerous times publicly, saying, and also reassuring his supporters that voter fraud is not, quote, a widespread issue. So it seems that Trump is not very happy with Wray right now, which is what the statement is making clear. The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., has suggested his dad might try to break up the upper ranks of the FBI in his second term. Other congressional and law enforcement sources noted that Trump might lack leverage to actually affect Wray, like in the past FBI directors, which have been appointed to serve a 10-year term. The setup is designed to make sure to insulate the Bureau from politics to his will. A public offense against Biden by the FBI would actually doom Wray's chances of remaining and maintaining his job within the potential Biden administration. Wray has no incentive to burn the rulebook in order to go in favor of Trump, because he seems that he relatively enjoys bipartisan support in the Capitol. The latest push from Trump and his allies is for Wray to reveal that the FBI is in possession of a laptop or hard drive that once belonged to Biden's son, Hunter. The hard drive was allegedly dropped off at Wilmington, Delaware repair shop in April 2019, which was days before Biden even entered the presidential race. It was then abandoned and turned over by the shop's repair workers to Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani. The repairman said that he shared the drive with the FBI as early as December 2019. The Republican senator of Wisconsin, Ron Johnson, confirmed that his committee received the materials last month and asked Wray to brief the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee on efforts to determine the accuracy and the validity of the emails. Johnson has asked for answers by Tuesday. It's unclear if FBI intends to respond, and a spokesperson has not given any comment whatsoever. So far, despite the renewed pressure, the FBI has not disclosed the existence of an investigation related to Hunter Biden. And the Bureau's typical practice is neither confirm nor deny whether any practical probe exists, with some exceptions. The prohibition is typically even more stringent toward the end of campaign season. Justice Department policies dictate that no politically explosive steps should be taken within 2 months of an election. Wray has kept his head down, keeping his comments just terse and showing no indication whether or not he's swaying towards Trump or Biden's side. He delivered recently an extensive public hearing remarks at September hearing of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and his most recent public foray was in a lengthy PSA from intelligence community leaders warning against foreign interference in the 2020 election. But this Monday, Trump's top intelligence aide, John Radcliffe, deployed to Fox News to disavow the suggestion that Biden's emails were the fruits of a Russian disinformation campaign. Radcliffe said, a quote, in a Fox interview, "Without commenting on any investigation that they may or may have not, their investigation is not centered around Russian disinformation, and the IC is not playing any role with respect to that," end quote. Trump has found himself in recent days beginning to lean on the FBI and the Justice Department to begin investigating and prosecuting his political enemies, including the Bidens. The FBI intelligence community veterans say Wray is unlikely to yield to the the pressure from Trump, even in the closing days of the election. And one of Wray's friends, the FBI chief of staff, head of the Drug Enforcement Administration, and U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia said, quote, "Chris does not need my advice. He is smart, thoughtful, and principled, and has the best interests of the FBI and the nation in mind," unquote. We've got a lot of information jam-packed into this article. I definitely tripped myself up a couple of times just trying to literally process all this information. It seems that Biden has something against him, and it's related to his son Hunter. And it's up to Wray to whether to disclose this information or not. What do we
That's a
think about this,
toughie.
Crystal?
This is a toughie because I feel like whatever it is, the American people have the right to know, but I wonder why. So let me get this straight. He's not willing to disclose it, and because he doesn't want to affect the Biden campaign. Is that the
In my opinion, it seems that he does not want to disclose any information because he doesn't want to really fall in the footsteps of like his successor in the first place. And also, like, if he were to disclose harmful information to Biden's administration and he were to be elected, that would harm his position as the FBI director. That's
got
what
it,
the
got
article
it,
is
got
stating.
it. Well, this is definitely a toughie. Oh, what would I do? I feel like, yeah, I feel like, this is so interesting because I was thinking about this yesterday about how many professions in this country requires you to be neutral in terms of, like, yes, you can have your own personal opinions, but you can't voice them, like, or you can, because obviously you can, because it's freedom of speech, but like you shouldn't, because then it messes up with your career, or it just makes you look like you're biased, or it makes you like something is always going to happen, and you always have to look out. So I feel like maybe in some way this is a little bit about that, I mean, just because he's like, well, I don't know if I should, or I don't want to, but should I not? I don't know.
Well, something that I find kind of interesting is something we definitely saw in the last election was the whole Hillary's emails thing. That was just
And Pizzagate.
literally and Pizzagate.
And Pizzagate.
And it was that was like most of the news coverage around the election was like
It was definitely overhyped, and
Yeah.
there was a lot of attention going on to these to the emails written by
Yeah.
Hillary. It seemed like it was over just media sized.
Exactly. And that definitely had, an impact. Like in some way, whether it be leaning one way or another, it definitely has an impact if it has enough coverage, in some way. We're not here to analyze that. But just that said, I think maybe that's one of the reasons why he's so conflicted right now, is because he knows no matter how America takes this information, if he releases it, no matter how we as Americans take the information and perceive it, it's going to have an impact on the election, like a major impact. So he's kind of like standing here basically like his finger on the trigger, thinking like, okay, do I go through with this and have a huge impact on the election? Because, and not only, like you said, not only on the election, but on his career at the same time. Being an FBI director is not an easy job to get, mind you.
No, of course not.
In case anybody out there was curious about that, it's not exactly something you apply to on LinkedIn.
It's years and years of experience. And the one thing that I actually respect him for is the fact that he's trying to take the bipartisan route, and he's just trying to stay in the middle of everything. And I think that if you hold such a high position in national security and such, that's your responsibility to not voice your political views and not to intentionally harm any candidate. And it seems that the FBI is not even acknowledging this investigation. Maybe it's kept under wraps and they're trying to figure out right now. And I feel like unless it's super, super necessary to release because it directly harms the American public or puts anything at risk, in my opinion, I feel like it does not need to be said right now, especially very few days before the election at this point.
We're less than 2 weeks away.
We're less than 2 weeks away, and I honestly respect that he's not trying to release any of this. However, I am a little nervous that Trump will find some other way to disclose this information to potentially harm Biden and his campaign. So we're just gonna have to wait this out and just see what happens. But
Yeah,
I mean,
oh, go ahead, Crystal.
I was just gonna say, like, it's. I really like the part of what you said, Kaya. I can't remember word for word, but how you said, like, his job is to, of course, be like, what is it, the safety of the United States,
Yeah,
basically. Right.
yeah,
So I feel like it's what you said. If it was really like we were in imminent danger, then I feel like he wouldn't keep it to himself, obviously.
yeah,
Right.
right.
But here's what I am going to say, because I like to look at it the other way. What if, and this is just, what ifs, let's say Biden does win the election in November, right? And then
okay,
this information comes out. How I can already see it. Some people were gonna be like, how could you keep this away from us? Like, whatever it is, right? Like, they'll blow it up and be like, how could you keep this away from us? This
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
right. Da, 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 da. So I can already like tell, like I can already see it like forthcoming, because it's going to be like, well, that's not right. We would have voted differently. Da, 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 da,
yeah.
da.
Not only is this a political responsibility, this is also the responsibility of the press, of the media. And something that I really wanted to talk about before we move on to our next story is the fact that for my ethics of mass communication class, once again, shout out to Jamie Bedrin, we've been watching this documentary by Vice News called In the Enemies of People. And it basically talks about the relationship between the media, the political press, the media, and Trump, right? And a lot of it kind of spans through and just tries to analyze all of the flaws that were made by political journalists, or even in political journalism overall, in the outline that journalists were following. And a lot of it comes to the responsibility of the press and how much coverage they want to give to presidential candidates. So, like, for instance, in the beginning, no one really took Trump seriously when he first wanted to run for president. When he announced it in the Trump Tower in downtown Manhattan, everyone thought it was pretty much a joke. Then press coverage started focusing on and fixating on his outlandish speeches and just like the spectacle that he would put on, and the grand rallies that he had and such. And, now I feel like when it comes to this, I feel like this is very similar, because this is when this information does get disclosed, this is going to be like the hot topic. This is something that journalists are going to want to report on and analyze and talk about, but it's also how they do it and how much airtime they dedicate to it. So hopefully they learn from Hillary's just the release of her emails, and also just the turnout of Pizzagate, and how some of the information, and a lot of it was misinformation. Pizzagate is misinformation, right? So it's really up to the press onto what they want to cover, how they're going to cover this, and what about it they're going to particularly cover.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like if this were really, like, truly a legally troublesome, I guess, for lack of a better word, a legally troublesome matter, that, like, this information that he's keeping, if it had any, like, thing to do with any, like, problems with the legality of, maybe business that he's doing, or like family things, whatever, if any of it was illegal, I feel like it wouldn't be, like, he wouldn't be conflicted, right?
That's true.
This is my personal opinion, but I feel
That's
like,
true.
right, as the FBI director, if you had, confidential information about, like, a presidential candidate, of them doing something illegal, that would be out already. I feel like
That's
we
true.
wouldn't be having this
Mhm.
discussion
And
here.
and that goes,
It would be a very different story we'd be reporting on.
yeah,
So
back to the point of, like, if it were to harm us
exactly.
directly,
So
or something in the government itself.
yeah.
Right.
So, like, in my opinion, I think he should, and again, I'm not the FBI director, obviously. I just talk into a microphone for a living.
Hey, you don't know. 20 years, you don't know.
But yeah, well,
20 years from now, we'll see.
yeah,
Ryan will be so outraged by the story, he's going to be like, I'm going to become FBI
exactly. Yeah.
director. We're totally kidding.
Well, I mean, like, honestly, personally, I would just keep it in wraps, keep it on the DL. People are going to be mad about the outcome of the election anyways. Like, that's set in stone. Like, you look
Just
at it
thinking
any
about
way
it.
you want. After the election, it's going to be a nightmare.
No, people are, so yeah, some people are going to be crying, some people are going to be extremely happy.
There are going to be
We're
riots.
going to find
It's-
out on November 3rd, but
yeah, November 4th and 5th, we're going to be reporting on the buzz like, oh, there were riots because people didn't get what they wanted, boo-hoo, whatever.
yeah.
I still don't think that should, this information, unless it is of a legal matter, personally, I don't think it needs to come out. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents on the subject.
And I think if we're going to play even level playing field words, Kaya, then also how would we look at this situation if it were Trump's administration at risk? Whether Biden had something on Trump's administration and what Trump did, right? This is
Yeah.
this is from both sides, and in my opinion, I believe that the FBI director would actually act accordingly as he did with the top information about that might affect Biden's campaign. So we're just gonna find out. We're gonna find out what happens. And guys, just make sure you're staying on top of politics. It's super important.
Exactly.
I feel like people listening to you right now, Kaya's like, politics, pass. I'm sick of it. It's definitely a lot. It's definitely a point to think about. And with that being said, why don't we go on our little break and then we'll be back to talk about the Karens out in the world.
Karen?
You are listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, New Jersey.
Should I play a song?
No, yes, sir.
I wrote a song to you, I poured my soul in it. Now I'm
No, mute
feeling
yourself on
fly.
Zoom.
Okay.
I want.
He's starting with the woots. Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
WMSC would like to welcome students new and old to MSU. We are pointing out some of the services and rules on campus to help everyone endure the first weeks of college. Montclair State knows that college isn't exactly the easiest time on someone's mind. To help, the university has CAPS, counseling and psychological services, to help you adapt to your college life and stay healthy. CAPS is committed to ensuring that every student is able to work through any problems that may arise, whether emotional or psychological, and they can refer to other professional help if needed. CAPS is 100% free and will never turn someone away. For more information, go to montclair.edu/counseling and psychological services.
Welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Morning Buzz. And just in case you just tuned in with us, you're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair. Crystal, my beautiful and amazing fierce co-host, actually has a story about Karens now. Tell us what's going on.
Yes, come calling all the Karens. I'm just kidding. Don't ever, please, if you're a Karen, if you
Please
identify
don't
as a
summon any
Karen,
Karens here.
seriously, don't ever approach any of us, or especially specifically me. Don't ever approach me. But a little context for those who may not know what I'm referring to. According to dictionary.com, Karen, spelled Karen, is a pejorative slang term for an obnoxious, angry, entitled, and often racist middle-aged white woman who uses her privilege to get her way or police other people's behavior. As featured in memes, Karen is generally stereotyped as having a blonde bob haircut, asking to speak to retail and restaurant managers to voice complaints or make demands. In 2020, this year, Karen spread as a label used to call out white women who were captured in viral videos engaging in what are widely seen as racist acts. So you may be asking yourself, why in the world would I be talking about a Karen? Well, in San Francisco, an act called Karen's Act, but this one is spelled with a C, is one step closer to becoming a law. The Karen's Act would make it illegal to make discriminatory racially biased 911 calls in San Francisco. According to San Francisco's lawmaker, Sherman Walton, it would be illegal to make calls to discriminate against not only race, but also someone's gender, identity, religion, and sexual orientation. According to CNN News, the Karen Act, which is short for Caution Against Racially Exploitative Non-Emergencies, was introduced in July at a San Francisco Board of Supervisors meeting by Supervisor Sherman Walton. According to CNN, of course, the board unanimously passed the act on a first read, which means that next week the bill has to be voted on again by the board, and then it will be sent to Mayor London Breed to sign. I think that's quite clever. Although the spelling is a bit different. Shout out to San Francisco.
I mean, we could have spelled caution with a K. I feel like that's totally fine too. But
I'm sitting here laughing because you know that the guy or girl or whoever thought of this literally was like, it'd be really funny if it was called Karen's Act, and then just sat down for like a day straight trying to think of an acronym for the act, and he finally came up with one.
I will say that the first three words I like: caution against racially exploitative, even non-emergencies. But I feel like the last part, the end, I feel like she was I give up.
It's a stretch. Yeah, that's
right.
when you can tell, like, yeah, they definitely thought of the name of the act and then thought of the acronym.
Right. I mean, I honestly kind of like non-emergencies because it kind of just says it bluntly out there. It's like, if someone is just trying to make just like a racist call or is just upset with something that's completely not of importance to 911, then it's like, it says it right there. I think this is a great act. I think, we're so tired of hearing about Karens on social media and just about all of these incidents and such. And this is something that I hope other cities will implement as well, because it's not okay to use your privilege to make it just to disown others. It's just not okay. It's not okay.
Yeah, and like notably, one story that I remember we reported on the Buzz that stuck out to me, I believe it was in New York. A woman was walking her dog without a leash
in Central Park.
Yeah, in Central Park, and this black man, asked her, can you put your dog on a leash? And she called the police on him, and he began filming her like do this. So he was like standing far away talking in like a calm voice or whatever. And what? You're shaking your head.
No, it's horrible.
Oh yeah.
He's like, why are you shaking your hand?
I thought I was mixing up two stories. Yeah, thought he started filming her, and she was like calling the police and saying, this man is threatening me. There's this black man threatening me, like, and my dog,
so
and please come help or whatever. And he's just standing there like, yeah, call the police. I literally just asked you to like put your dog on a leash. And I remember that story stuck out to me in particular because I was like, even when being filmed, like, they're filming you do something wrong, and these Karens are still like, they're just all in. It's all or nothing. Usually we see like women we see in supermarkets not wearing masks. Karens specifically, not all women.
No, I saw that video just this morning on my feed.
Yeah, like throwing a fit because they are told to wear a mask in a supermarket. It's like there's signs on the door. You can't say, "Oh, I forgot my mask when I walked in." There, unless you're blind, you
Mhm.
know, there's 100 signs everywhere. It's
I
like
know,
it
I
was
know.
mandated
I
in
know,
New
right?
Jersey.
Yeah, it sucks.
And we still see these videos, and then they start flipping off cameras and stuff. It makes for great entertaining news. I'll give them that. But right now, I
I'm
just
done
feel
with
bad.
chaos right now.
I feel bad for everyone named Karen who's
Just
not a
about to
Karen.
say that.
That's
There's a
Yep.
true.
girl named Karen who's in one of my classes. If I don't know if you listen to the Morning Buzz, but if you do, shout out to you, Karen. I feel so bad for her because her name is Karen, and we live in a time where it's like,
Now
you
this is
know,
what her name is going to be alluded to.
yeah, exactly. And she's nice too. You
I
know, that's
know.
not all Karens are bad, but
So the
like,
moral,
not all
of this,
Karens are Karens.
the
There you
moral
go.
of the story is don't judge every Karen that you see, but if you do see,
Just judge the ones who are judging you. There we go.
Yeah, and if you see
Period.
someone that is just acting outlandish and just chaotic and is doing things that really should be reported, report it.
Make sure to
Record it and report
get it on tape so we can report it live here on the
to
Morning
our
Buzz.
We'll be like, we'll give you a special shout out. Don't you worry.
Have you guys ever thought about what would you do if a Karen, and like I know we consider a Karen or we call someone a Karen, whoever, like the description that I gave, either you ask to speak to the manager, you don't want to comply with basic rules, or you call 911 for non-emergencies just based off people racially biased. But have you ever thought of what would happen if you were in that position? I feel like I think about it all the time.
If like a Karen was like screaming at me or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So and I'll probably get a lot of hate for this. But if you want to angry tweet me at Ryan the Trick on Twitter, or you can,
You
at
have made it your life's
WMSC.
mission to get like
I
a
am
hate
determined
tweet.
to get an angry tweet one day. I got an angry Facebook comment that's still like the best thing ever. Shout out to you if you still listen to the show. I
Oh,
guess
my
you know who
goodness.
you are. And yes, I am still wearing a mask on air. We're not going to rehash that one.
That's true.
But anyways,
Bill Carr, like, yeah.
Right? Cracks me up.
but anyways, no, I am one of those people who will tell people to put their mask on correctly. And my dad tells me, when we're out in public, he's like, chill, just let them do their thing. And in my opinion, I'm like, no.
But that's not Karening.
No. But I'm waiting for a Karen one day for me to tell somebody please put your mask on correctly, and for someone to start screaming at me. I've had people give me really dirty looks for it. But
oh my gosh,
I'm waiting on the day I go to my Starbucks
yeah.
or something, and I'm waiting for my coffee or my tea, and I tell someone to put their mask up, and they just start screaming at me in angry middle-aged pumpkin spice language.
You just the one thing that I saw was a video. It was like a Karen's. Woo! I got so excited for the story. There was a Karen that was screaming at someone, and then this other guy just literally goes right into her face, right? And this is, I think, pre-pandemic times.
Yeah.
Goes right into her face and just starts screaming back at her. So every time she actually tried saying something, he would just scream even louder just to basically try to silence her, which I thought was super epic. So you can try that tactic out. You could just scream even louder and be like, no.
No, I would just start shouting random
Things.
words.
The alphabet.
I would literally, just to annoy them, I would start shouting random words and phrases over them.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, don't tell me what to do. And I'd be like, pineapple oranges. And just, I would just
Ryan blew out the speaker
and they'd
saying
be
that.
And they'd be like, what, this man's crazy. And I'm like, you're darn right. Now wear your mask correctly, please. And thank you.
We can all say that Karens are definitely Karens are not great in real life, but reporting on them and talking about them in discussions is hilarious, and you can spend so much time debating and talking about Karens and what you would do in that situation if you were approached by a Karen.
You know what else you could spend a lot of time doing, Kaya?
Yes.
Watching Netflix.
Awesome. Great transition, Ryan.
Or any other streaming services. This is not,
Hey,
station.
This is not commercial, but I gotta say, in the beginning of the pandemic, and even in the beginning of streaming times, Netflix hit it off. In the beginning, it was the top platform.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the streaming platforms started popping up right before the pandemic, and especially during the pandemic, they're really launching now. But with filming coming back, I think things are coming back to Netflix.
Yes, we got a wide range of TV shows and movies. So starting
I
off
will.
on
What's
I
up?
just want to say that when I say I'm Netflixing, I'm gonna Netflix, I don't mean I'm actually going to Netflix. I feel like, well, at least for me, I've coined that phrase as in, like, I'm gonna watch a show. It doesn't matter. It could be Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix,
It just
Amazon
means you're
Prime.
streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, it just means I'm watching something.
Oh,
But
we
go on,
all
Kaya,
do
tell
that.
us.
We all do that. It's like as a broke college student, I kind of sway between streaming services, you know? So it's like either I just cancel my subscription with Netflix and I go to Hulu because my stepsister left her Hulu account open on our main TV downstairs. You know, I kind of just like flip back and forth, you know, like a ping pong battle. But if you guys are still interested in finding out what kind of new shows and movies are playing on Netflix, I got them for you. So on November 1st, Dawson's Creek seasons 1 to 6 are going to be airing. It's the classic teen drama that you can find Kate Holmes in. Also, The Garfield Show season 3. We're excited for that. November 13th, the season 9 of American Horror Story is going to be aired, and the series is set in 1984. Awesome. We also have a movie called The Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey, a musical adventure that features original songs from John Legend. Awesome. Number 15th, which is I'm super excited about, is The Crown season 4, and it's the latest and final season of Olivia Colman playing the role of Queen Elizabeth, and we're also going to be introduced to Diana and Margaret Thatcher. Woo! We're excited for that. Also on November 17th, Boss Baby.
The dumbest show in existence.
Hey, don't hate on the Boss Baby, all right? It's past your time. You can't comment on that. The latest DreamWorks adventures with the Boss Baby. So yeah, we've got a wide range of TV shows and movies. Ryan's like, yikes.
Livid.
But yeah. So I just
How are there 4 seasons of that show? I just need to go off for a second. Who let this happen?
Hey, I watched the Boss Baby movie and I actually got through the entire thing.
Was it entertaining,
It
or did you
sounds
just?
like you just said, like, yeah, I had, the flu the other day, but I made it through all my medicine. I
Right.
sucked all that disgusting cherry flavored goo down. Like, yeah, I made it through the Boss Baby. Like, that doesn't sound like
I was
entertaining.
I was watching with this little kid. I was babysitting for a sec,
and you made it through.
and I made it through. I actually was watching the entire thing. I was like, okay. You know,
Okay.
the humor is obviously like really dumbish for us at this point.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't so bad.
It blows me away that not only did they make a show out of that movie,
Hmm.
but that show is now on season 4.
Yeah, and that means people of not your time, Ryan, younger people are actually enjoying it. And it could be because we're old now. We just don't appreciate bad humor anymore.
Now, I appreciate bad humor. I just, okay,
I know.
it hurts.
I've
What?
never watched it, and I don't plan on watching it because
Save
I've
your
seen like
brain
the
cells,
small
Crystal.
clip, and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. I feel like it's too.
Save your brain cells. You don't need to watch it.
But if you're just looking at the list of just new Netflix releases, and I honestly am also thinking about the fact, like, if they were filmed during the pandemic, how was that possible, and how they went about that, and like how they went about like distributing the TV shows and movies on Netflix. Also, I think that's super interesting. But like, if you're looking at the list, right, what are you most excited for, or what would you see yourself watching?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
Out of this list,
Yeah.
I said what I said.
if
yeah,
I
'cause
had to pick,
Not even Dawson's Creek?
if
Wow.
I had to pick out of this list specifically, American
Boss
Horror
Baby.
What,
Boss
not
Baby.
Boss Baby. I would actually rather remove my eyes than watch that TV show.
Crystal's just trying to pick at you.
Like I would have my eyes surgically replaced with like ping pong balls rather than watch
I mean,
that show.
you do you.
Yeah. Anyways, no, I would American Horror Story. I'd be down to watch if I had to pick from this list. I know that a couple of my animes, my favorite animes, have actually like gotten back into production, and they now have release dates that are coming out like in the spring. But I know that the morning show season 2 is continued filming.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they resumed filming recently, I believe, and
Ryan
so
got me
that
into
I'm
that show.
that I'm super excited for. That's a fantastic show.
No, it's
In
great.
my
It's great. It's great.
in my personal opinion.
It's really relevant to, especially like what we're doing, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a show that literally talks about what it's like to host and report for a morning show,
It
right?
gives
A
you a
morning news
very
show.
scary, real inside look at like the morning show and how morning shows in the real world can be run.
Yeah, it kind of illustrates like pretty much like the worst things that could happen if you were to report on like in a morning news show,
Yeah.
and kind of
But
past
in a very
incidents that
realistic
happened.
way too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talks
So,
about the whole Matt Lauer thing.
and you get the guy from Office, you get Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon all smacked into one show. That's
oh, yeah.
amazing.
Fantastic.
I'm actually kind of bummed out they didn't win any Emmys, but
Don't even get me started on that one, Kaya. I am furious.
but if I were to actually
Apparently S Creek is the best show on the face of the planet. I'm not gonna get into
It's an amazing
I
show.
know.
Don't
it
get
does
me
not
started on
deserve
that,
that
Ryan.
many awards.
We
It does
will-
not
we will-
deserve the amount of awards that it won.
It won 9, I believe.
It won 9 awards, and it's
And
only because
I
it
think
was
you-
their series finale.
We need to give it a try and actually watch an episode before we say
I've
anything
seen
further.
episodes of it.
Oh, really?
I can confidently say
amazing.
that show. I can confidently say, in my personal opinion, that show does not deserve 9 awards. Kai is doing the wrap-up signal right in front of the camera so everybody can see it. So let's move on to the next story before I get too heated.
Let's move on because we could stay on this topic for quite some time, but we're not gonna do that because we can fight it out off air. But no, I'm just kidding.
True.
But speaking of the morning show and our favorite Reese Witherspoon,
Oh no.
guess what,
Oh no.
guys? Guess what? When I tell you I am stoked about the story, I am stoked. I'm not Blondie, but I can say, can I get an amen for Legally Blonde 3?
Amen.
MGM Studios officially announced in a tweet a date for the movie Legally Blonde. The tweet said, quote, Elle Woods is back. Legally Blonde 3 coming May 2022. We rest our case. I freaking love this. And if you're wondering if Reese Witherspoon will be back, I think we can confidently say that she will be because she was also tagged in the tweet. So
Oh, awesome.
I was kind
Am I
of
the only
hoping
one-
for a Legally Blonde spin-off with Donald Trump in it.
Oh.
Am I allowed to say that on air? I sure hope I
Yeah,
am.
you're. That's amazing. I would watch that. Yes, I would watch an actor impersonating
Rather
Trump.
than
be Elle Woods.
rather than Reese Witherspoon, just like Donald Trump is Legally Blonde.
Actually, you know, I think would be fascinating if it was Elle Woods and her best friend was an impersonation of Trump,
That'd be pretty funny too.
or
I
like
don't-
just like her
Or
rivaling
just Reese
classmate.
Witherspoon was playing Donald Trump. Anyways,
This took a turn.
I'm
It's
excited.
important to note that Legally Blonde was a smash hit for MGM after its release in July 2001. Wow, it's been a very long time.
yeah.
Earning about 141.8 million on an 18 million budget, according to Pop Culture.
Yeah, that's
I'm here for it.
that's crazy. By the way,
I'm
for
excited.
a movie, that movie
Yeah.
is still to this day popular too.
And they literally
It's
are doing
one-
musicals about it.
It's literally one of those movies that is just still
I would watch it again.
like as popular as it was. It's
Yeah.
crazy to think too.
I would continue watching it.
$18 million budget. They made 141 so far. Have made 141.8 million dollars
That's a
off that movie.
big profit.
That's
jump.
insane.
That's exponential. So I really hope that 3 actually beats out 1 and 2, and we're gonna have an entire season of Elle Woods soon. I'm
I'm here
totally
for
gonna
it.
get into my Elle Woods get up, my pink blazer and skirt, and my black chihuahua, and feel all the Elle Wood spirits.
Fun fact though, our fact checker said Reese Witherspoon almost did not get the role of Elle Woods because the crew didn't think she could play a bubbly character. Oh no, she did a Chef's kiss. She did it spectacular. Like,
Chef's
Perfect.
kiss.
Chef's kiss on this one.
Mwah.
That's actually crazy because it's like Reese has a very bubbly personality, and it's like,
Right?
how
That's what
could
I
they
said.
think, unless she was super shy, just like trying out for roles and stuff could be super intimidating. So
Oh, yeah.
maybe the audition didn't go as well as the directors or the casting personnel might have thought. But no, Reese was the perfect person, and I'm excited to see her back on the big screen as Elle Woods again, and the
Kaya,
morning
I
show.
Yeah.
Kaya, I just have to ask you
Oh,
one
no.
short thing. I just have to. Like,
I
it's been
see it in
bothering
the
me.
script.
Here
She's
we
coming
go.
for us, Kaya.
As a blonde yourself,
Uh-huh.
do you ever feel that people actually think you're dumb? Is that like an actual thing?
I love this stereotyping, Crystal.
I'm asking. I'm not stereotyping. I'm asking if it's true.
Have we
Um,
ever been stereotyped?
Have we?
Yeah.
This, I mean,
Probably.
as a blonde female, yes,
Yeah.
I've been called dumb. And I feel like everyone goes through stereotyping in their life, whether it's like in your face or if it's behind your back or if it's something that someone is thinking of you and not saying out loud. Yes, I have been called dumb, and I know for a fact that I'm not dumb because I'm currently rocking a 3.88 GPA and office manager at the
Oh.
radio station, and I'm also contributing for
Keep
News
dropping
Lab,
it.
getting into political reporting. So I could proudly say that I am not dumb. And if someone does call me dumb or thinks of me as dumb, I will prove them wrong because it's not nice to stereotype people.
Now, as a blonde who is barely making a 3.0 GPA, somehow graduated high school with like a 2.4 GPA. Yes, a 2.4. Do the math on that one and you'll laugh.
But did a lot of extracurricular activities, actually.
I always like to say I embrace the stereotypes. I like to think that, embracing there's no point in fighting against stereotypes because people are going to stereotype you anyway. I got the wrap up, Kaya.
Thank you.
I like to say, I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid.
You are not stupid.
Yeah,
You are not dumb.
I may be dumb, but I'm not stupid.
No, you're not dumb. You're not stupid. The Morning Buzz show is happening because of Ryan Trick and has been revamped.
Absolutely incorrect.
That is so true. So, Ryan, we appreciate you. You're awesome. And the moral of the story is that not blonde people aren't dumb, and you shouldn't think that.
Listen, I've met some pretty dumb blondes. I'll be totally
Oh my
honest.
god.
There's
Some pretty dumb ones out there. So
there's
always
dumb
the
every hair
exception.
color there is.
That's true. I met dumb blondes.
No need to target
brunettes,
lighter hair colors, and it's also not fair to
dumb
people that
bald
actually
people.
dyed their hair too blonde, right? If you dyed your hair blonde, it's like,
Those are fake blondes.
Exactly.
those are fake
Fake
blondes, like
blondes,
me
get
with
outta
my
here.
highlights. Yeah, so speaking of blondes, I'm super excited for Elle Woods. She went to Harvard and she's not dumb, so we love that. But I would like to close off the show by just talking about a couple of holidays that you guys could just celebrate in your own time, whether you grab a snack or you just post about it on socials or you dress up as something and whatever. So we've got Apple Day, and if you've recently been on an apple picking farming trip, then awesome for you. I totally saw your Instagram photos.
Apple as in the fruit, not as in the cult/monopoly known as Apple Technologies.
Nice. We also have National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day, and I'm not talking about the pumpkin cheesecake whipped cream that's in my fridge that no one has touched in weeks. We also have National Reptile Awareness Day, and I'm going to say a couple of jokes in honor of Josh, our programming director, because he would do this for the Morning Buzz.
Okay, I'm
So-
not gonna look.
All right, guys, what's the coldest type of reptile?
What?
A blizzard.
A
That made no sense. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's funny. That's funny.
by lizard.
Me clapper.
lizard? Okay.
Okay, ready? What do you call a reptile that starts fights over social media?
What?
An instigator. And then last one, which I think is
Instigator.
hilarious. What do you call a reptile that goes to a poetry slam? A snapping
It's
turtle.
yeah, I was about to say it's a snapping
Oh,
turtle.
I love that. That was my favorite.
That's a very
Wow.
artsy joke because you don't clap at slam poetry, you snap. Yeah. okay.
And
I got you, Kyle.
three, yeah, and three more holidays. It's also Medical Assistance Recognition Day, and we also have BRA Day in the U.S., which is Breast Reconstruction Awareness Day. And it's basically to educate, engage, and empower women to make the decision that is best for them when it comes to following their diagnosis with breast cancer. And it's also to give them information and inform them of breast reconstruction options. And it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so please make sure you wear pink in support of that. And the last really super weird holiday is the eel-shaped slime-producing marine fish that kind of looks like a snail, but is just like a huger, blown-up version of a snail, and it looks completely disgusting.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Very
get
closely
slimy.
related to me, in fact. The hagfish.
No, you look more of like a lizard.
Yeah.
You look more like
Do I?
Rango. Yeah,
Like Ringo?
yeah, I could see Rango.
You're listening to 90.3 WMSC Upper Montclair, New Jersey. I am your local Ringo, Ryan Trick. Thank you guys for having me on today.
Ryan is currently changing colors as he said that.
Exactly.
And also, before we end the show, we'd also like to remind everyone that we are currently still accepting donations for the WMSC Excellence in Radio Scholarship and Training Fund, which seeks to acknowledge and reward the hard work of undergraduate students who volunteer their time and efforts to the radio station and embody the hard work and spirit of excellence in college radio. We are still collecting donations, and if you'd like to help us out in everything that we do at the station, please visit crowdfund.montclair.edu/project/22151, or just go to Crowdfund Montclair and find the scholarship fund on the homepage. Thank you so much for tuning into the Morning Buzz, and you can listen to our Friday edition tomorrow with George and Leslie, and the Weekend Wake Up as well with Leslie and Caitlin. So you're listening to WMSC Upper Montclair, and we will see you next week. Have an awesome and positive day.